Hi, this is my Rise 360 interactive module that I titled AI Writing Assistant Friend or Foe. The scenario based lesson is based for middle grade ELA educators that are most likely navigating the ethical and just instructional challenges that come along with students using AI tools like ChatGPT or Grammarly. I think there's Magic AI as well in the classroom. You could use, there's so many, to list them would, I'm not going to really list them right now, but the one we know that's most popular is ChatGPT in the classroom. So I'll go ahead and start. So as we go on to lesson one, it's a welcome and overview, and this first lesson introduces the scenario and just clearly states our learning objectives. Learners will be able to distinguish support AI as support versus just substitution of writing. Learners will also be able to identify signs of AI enabled plagiarism. They will learn a little bit about how to adapt writing rubrics for transparency and student voice. And then they will have to make some instructionally sound decisions about AI use in their classroom using the interactive scenarios that are available in Rise 360. So I'll go ahead and continue here. So lesson two, I go ahead and I provide context for how AI is used in student writing, and this is where I set up the scenario. So, like for example, there's a student named Jordan who submits a polished essay. Um, Submits a polished essay and then admits to, in a one-on-one, admits to using ChatGPT to get started. And then I ask the user here, what would you do next? And they continue on to lesson three. And then in lesson three, this is the actual scenario interaction where I go into detail of this scenario where Jordan submitted a polished essay and kind of review the scenario. What would you do next? And I go ahead and click. And then here we have your student use ChatGPT. What now? So this is where we go into the interactive lesson. The dialogue gives three choices. So, how would you respond to them admitting they use ChatGPT? What would be the most instructionally sound next step? And so we have three options: have a conversation, ask Jordan to reflect on their AI use and revise the essay to add more student voice, accept the essay without further discussion. They submitted it, so you count it. Or option three, issue a zero, using AI is cheating and should be penalized. So I like to click this one first because I think it's important as educators to move with the times and the ever changing world of technology, and AI is in the class. So you can't just say like, here's your zero, you're cheating and shame on you, get out of my face, which hopefully you wouldn't say that. But it's more, it gives you an opportunity to help the student grow and to also learn like what is ethical use when it comes to AI, and you can teach them the right way to use it so that they can get a good grade. So clearly you get a response that's like, no, that's absolutely wrong, and it's not always considered plagiarism, and so like you're failing to teach the lesson here. So the correct option obviously would be have the conversation. You address the issue without the shame, and you can approach like the different supports about ethical AI use and show them what a prompt log would be or an AI use log would be and how they can include it in their essay writing. So that I would just continue and then continue here to lesson four. In lesson four, it debriefs the scenario with just practical strategies. I use the tab block, sorry, to present the distinctions between like what is plagiarism, and I kind of go through that. What's the rule of thumb to identify? I go into detail on support versus substitution. Like support would mean you're using AI to brainstorm or to generate counter arguments, and you come up with your own arguments. Asking for just grammar suggestions or like revisions, or having AI function as some form of interviewer or a collaborator that will ask like guiding questions to kind of generate ideas and stuff to write out. And then I just kind of highlight what substitution meaning. Like you just send in the assignment and have it generate the entire essay, copy and paste it. So I also touched on rubric adaptations for AI, like how you can create and adapt rubrics so that we encourage ethical AI use. One of my favorites, which I did my podcast on, was AI use log. So moving forward as an English teacher, I definitely want to incorporate that into the rubric is did the student include their AI use log? And that would help to bring up points rather than just looking at an essay and saying, wow, they must have used AI and giving it back to them and saying, this is cheating, this is plagiarism. Rather than doing that, I teach them how to use AI and what the ethical way of using it is, and then also providing them a log that they can maybe add some reflections and feedback on. And then I go down, you can scroll down here to where you see like can you tell the difference between AI generated writing and then student writing with AI support. Again, notes to kind of show the differences, how this is generic, it's polished, it lacks evidence or revision, there's no student voice or experience, and then this one clearly shows like the I and kind of discussing their own experiences, and the thinking is clearly student driven. So when we go on to lesson 5 now, this is our knowledge check where we will start the quiz. I have, which of the following best represents appropriate AI use in student writing? So appropriate AI use meaning we're going to say that asking AI to brainstorm counter arguments and writing the essay independently, and then move on to the next. Which scenario reflects appropriate support, not substitution in student AI use? Well, we'll also choose a student brainstorms 3 possible counterarguments using AI and then writes the rebuttals on their own. And then the next one, which student action would most likely be considered plagiarism when using AI? Well, I think down here, where is it? Submitting an AI generated essay with no modifications or explanation. And then I have this matching activity here where AI usage, transparency, student explains how AI helped, ideas and content, original thinking, writing reflects student tone and choices, authentic voice, and then lastly, number 3, organization, student-led structure, even if AI assisted. So then that would be the quiz. You get your quiz results, and that is about it. So there we go, and that's the end of my scenario-based Rise 360 lesson. I hope you enjoyed it.